The second round of the Autosport International BTRDA Clubmen's Rallycross Championship for 2022 takes place at one of the spiritual homes of the championship at Pembrey in South Wales. Drivers from across the UK have made the journey to Wales for this occasion, the first of a double-header round on this spring weekend. Cloudy but dry conditions at Pembrey. Cars of all ages, shapes and sizes are here to do battle across the various categories. Many drivers arriving fairly fresh from the first round at the Brighton Park circuit in Lincolnshire, looking for double A final victories. They're also joined by the first round of the season for the Clubman 4x4 category. Great show in prospect over the course of this weekend here at the Pembrey circuit. Let's take a tour of the circuit with Kai Mannering, local man in his production Peugeot 106, a slightly changed layout for this year. The circuit used in both directions this weekend. The first direction for the Saturday meeting, it's a short sprint off the start line into a left and right S-bend. Kai Mannering new to the championship this year, running in the production category. We'll see him out in race action later on. So a fairly long right-hander, then flicking back to the left over the old runways here at this old airfield circuit. Series of S-bends taking them onto the tarmac again into the back straight. Not as long a back straight this year. Instead of going up to the hairpin at the far end of the back straight, the circuit turns off to the right, back onto the loose infield section through a long right-hander. Very easy to run wide there, taking the cars past the paddock on the left, then swinging into a left-hander. Tightens on the way in, quite treacherous curbs on the inside there as well. No sharp hairpins on the course this year. A fairly tight right-hander taking the cars back towards the finish line. Final right sweeper to the end of a slightly short lap here at Pembrey. We'll begin our roundup of round two of the series with the Cooper Tyres Junior Rallycross category. Corey Paget on pole. He won all three of the heats. Alongside him, Owen Robbins, the reigning junior class champion. Completing the front row, Tyler McAlpin in the number 10 car. Owen Robbins desperate for success here after broken steering in first lap collision forced him out of the A final in round one at Brighton, and he and Corey Paget already getting together there, running wide through the first corner. We've got a bit of a tangle there. Holly Woolley coming through at the back, but it's a tangle between Ryan Smith and James Hawkes, the latest member of the Hawkes family to take up Rallycross. It's allowed the first three to get clear. It's Corey Paget who leads around the opening lap. Owen Robbins in there in second place, the man from the southwest of England. And Tyler McAlpin, newcomer this year, third in car number 10, side by side down the back straights. This is the new section of the course, this new long right-hander. This circuit, you can see, used to go up to a tight hairpin onto the loose at the end of the back straights. Slightly shorter lap this year, and a slightly quicker one as well with that hairpin cutouts. Paget's got Robbins all over his back bumper there as they head over the loose for the first time. James Hawkes, I can see in the background there, has got going again. Ryan Smith, I'm sure, has as well. These six identical 1300cc Suzuki Swifts. These drivers from 14 to 17 years of age, the Rallycross stars of tomorrow. It's Corey Paget looking for his first A final victory after a couple of years of trying. The son of Phil Chicken, who's competed in Rallycross for many years. We'll see him out later on. Owen Robbins in second place, former mini stocks racer on the short ovals, the junior champion last year. His A final at Brighton in round one ended early with steering damage. He's run wide there. It's very easy to run wide on the loose there. Tyler McAlpin up into second position. Things not going Owen Robbins' way, although the winner of round one, Will Ovenden, is not here this weekend, so a chance for Owen to make up some points through that final corner, well, penultimate corner, the tightest on the lap. Between the red tyres there, that's the finish line after 6 laps in this A final for the Cooper Tyres Junior Rallycross category. Owen Robbins closing back up on Tyler McAlpin, trying to retake second place. He does not want Corey Paget to get away here. They're well ahead of the rest. Holly Woolley further back in the black car. There she is, being chased by Ryan Smith. His first appearance in the Autosport International BTRDA Clubmen's Rallycross Championship. James Hawkes further back at the rear of the field. Holly Woolley also a newcomer this year. Resident in America, but divides her time between the UK and the US. Losing out on fourth place there, though, to Ryan Smith. Not to be confused with the truck racer of the same name, of course. Corey Paget leads. Alpin in second, Robbins in third. between these three for victory in this A final. There'll be 2 laps to go next time around, and Robbins in the 927 moves up right onto the tail of Tyler McAlpin. Will try and go down the inside. McAlpin moves to take the line for this new right-hander. Robbins tries to go round the outside. Now, he ran wide here on the last lap through. He's going to do so again, right out onto the dirt there. Robbins making things very difficult for himself if he wants an A final victory. He's getting frustrated in there now. He's still aim to finish here. He didn't finish in the first round at Blighton. There's James Hawkes, number 81. It's about all the Hawkes family have raced Rallycross over the last few years. We'll see Martin and Andy Hawkes out later on in their BMW Minis, among other things. It's Corey Paget who leads. Swift livery, the same as his father Phil Chicken's Citroen C2 that we'll see in the super modified category. Phil is the reigning super modified champion. Robbins trying to close back up again, but he hasn't got much time to do so. Only about a lap and a half to go in this Cooper Tyres Junior A final. Corey Paget looking good for a first ever A final victory. He was beaten after a stirring battle with Will Ovenden in the opening round at Blighton. The man from Kent not making the long journey to South Wales this weekend. Robbins has closed back up on the nose on the tail of Tyler McAlpin, the first season newcomer. They come up through the tyres there. That marks the finish line. They're into the final lap now. Last lap board is out from the marshals in the background, and here comes Owen Robbins. It'll be a real charge. He's caught them. Passing will be another matter. He's up the inside at the right-hander. He's through into second place. McAlpin will fight back as they go into the back straights. And Owen Robbins catch Corey Paget. This is going to be close. Round the long right-hander, Robbins gets the line right this time. The last 2 laps he's run out too wide there. He's on the bumper of Corey Paget. Can he find a way through? Only a couple of corners to go in this Cooper Tyres Junior A final. James Hawkes pulling off ahead of them there, and Paget hesitated briefly and wallop into the back of Corey Paget. Goes Owen Robbins. He's up the inside. That's what you call a last bend lunge. He's up the inside, and Robbins is going to steal the win up to the line, and he's got it, only just ahead of Corey Paget. My goodness me. Tyler McAlpin takes 3rd place in the number 10 car. That was pretty ebullient stuff there on that final corner. There was contact between the two of them. Corey Paget's not happy. Gets back ahead of Owen Robbins, but it's too late on the slowdown lap. McAlpin takes 3rd. We'll confirm the rest of the results in a second. And there has been an amendment. Owen Robbins given a penalty for that contact on the final corner there. He did go into the back of Corey Paget and force him to go wide, so Owen Robbins penalised 1 place for contact. Corey Paget takes his first ever A final win. McAlpin 3rd ahead of Smith and Holly Woolley, and James Hawkes was a non-finisher.
So, Corey, at last you're on your top step of the final.
Finally, it's taken 2 long years to get here. And what a day to win it, 4 years after I made my debut in motorsport. And you know, I'm just happy, relieved for the team, relieved for myself. I finally got that monkey off my back with a clean sweep, so yeah, what a way to take it.
How was the race for you then?
Quite calm, just got a good start, led it from the beginning, you know, took the win. So yeah, really happy.
And what celebrations are you going to have tonight?
A long sleep. Just be with my team, you know, thank them as they put in the work, and you know, give my dad a hug.
I was going to say, you're not going to be too harsh with your dad, are you?
Well, depends how he does. Only joking. You know, it's a team effort. We've been here together for the last 10 years. I've watched, and now it's finally my turn to win. So yeah, cheering my dad on as always. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing how he does.
Good on you, Corey. We'll see what happens tomorrow, shall we?
Yeah, hoping for the same tomorrow. If not, that's Rallycross, and we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Onto the All-Tool UK and AVO suspension modified category. 3 cars on the grid. Alex Fletcher in the Honda Civic on pole position, had 2 heat wins. The other heat win going to James Avison in the Ford Focus. Steve Gaunt in the Clio completes the grid. 3 cars get underway. It's a slow start for Alex Fletcher, or that is a production spec Honda Civic running with the modifieds this weekend. James Avison, the winner of round 1 at Blighton Park, goes into the lead in the newly liveried Ford Focus. Steve Gaunt with a good start in the Clio up there into second place. These drivers all involved quite heavily behind the scenes in the Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. James Avison, the boss of All Tool UK, the sponsors of this category. He's out in front ahead of Steve Gaunt, the boss of SG Haulage, one of the long-time sponsors of this series. Alex Fletcher back in third place. That's the Loughborough College run Honda Civic. A number of the students here this weekend looking after that car in the paddock. Good to see Alex back out and racing for the first time since 2019. He was undergoing chemotherapy at the time for Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm pleased to report that he is now all clear. Great news for Alex Fletcher. Good to see him back behind the wheel, trying to catch up to the back of Steve Gaunt in the Renault Clio in this 6-lap A final for the modified category. A new category introduced last season for the modifieds to effectively bridge the gap between production and super modified, as Fletcher tries a move on the inside, side by side into the right-hander, but Gaunt keeps his foot in. He's going to run wide onto the dirt though, and Alex Fletcher goes through into second place. Nice move there by what is effectively a production spec car, not a modified car in any way. They are hoping, I think, to upgrade the Honda Civic to make it a little bit more competitive, but it certainly is already competitive in Alex Fletcher's hands, winning 2 of the heats today to take pole. The other heat going to James Avison, former Bangor racer at the wheel of the Ford Focus. We haven't yet seen this year Max Weatherly, the reigning modified champion, with his Suzuki Swift. Hopefully we'll see him out later in the year. Avison already looking to establish a big lead in the modified points in this Ford Focus Mark 1. Staying clear of Fletcher, who's trying to catch back up after that slightly slow start. The Civic a little slower off the line compared to the other 2 cars. The right-hander coming through to the end of lap 3 out of the 6. Slightly shorter Pembrey configuration this year, with the hairpin being missed out. Seen the Loughborough College car in the hands of David Woppert in the past as well in the production category. Great to see Loughborough College encouraging new talent into motorsports, not only driving this car but also looking after it in the paddock as well. The Loughborough College students enjoying their weekend out at Pembrey. Alex's first time back in the car. Finally all clear of his illness, which is brilliant news indeed. 5 years of treatment he had, including stem cell donations through the Anthony Nolan charity. Credit to everyone involved there. New sponsor on board as well. You notice the stickers of Design 375 as well, backing the team this season. And Alex closing on James Avison here. Very impressive effort in the production spec car. There's only a car length or so behind James Avison now as they go over the loose there. Steve Gaunt has dropped back in the Clio, and a mistake there from Alex Fletcher. He gets crossed up, he locked up there going into the left-hander. That could have cost him his chance of victory, unfortunately, but James Avison able to pull away. Fletcher gathers it up again. There's Gaunt in the background in the Clio. Long-time sponsor of Rallycross through his business SG Haulage and his trailer hire business as well. Son-in-law Dale Ford, also a competitor in super modified with his Corsa, a former overall champion as well, Dale Ford, in the production category days. We're on the last lap now of this All Tool UK AVO suspension modified A final. It's going to be a second A final of the season for James Avison, putting him in pole position for the championship title. There's a long way to go yet. As round 3 is coming up here at Pembrey in the reverse direction on the anti-clockwise circuit. See how James copes with that in our next programme, but he's coming up to win the A final here at round 2. He takes the victory ahead of Alex Fletcher. Steve Gaunt dropping back just a little into third place. But a great drive by James Avison in the All Tool UK, also Sparshak Truck and Van sponsored Ford Focus Mark 1. A brilliant effort by Alex Fletcher to take second place for Loughborough College's team. The win going to Avison by just under 2 seconds there from Alex Fletcher. Stephen Gaunt a little further back in that third place in the All Tool UK and AVO suspension modified category. Great racing from them throughout the day.
James, congratulations on reaching the first step of the modified. How do you feel?
Good. After today, this morning was a bit funny where I thought the car was going to be completely off the pace going against the Civic, but final got in front and just held out in front, so really happy with that. So bring on tomorrow.
So fairly straightforward for you?
Yeah, straightforward in the final, not during the day. We had a bit of damage, but apart from that, yeah, pretty much straightforward day. Look forward to tomorrow.
How nervous were you about the weather conditions changing? It's got a bit damp just before you went out.
I prefer the rain. It just makes it a lot more even for everybody. It's more about you as a driver in the wet conditions and the greasy conditions. So yeah, so I wasn't worried about the rain. I was doing the rain dance. So yeah, apart from that, great. Yeah, very good.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you again for the next round tomorrow.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Great action so far here at the Pembrey Circuit at round 2 of the Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. It is a double-header weekend. In round 3, everything's turned around. They use the anti-clockwise circuit layout here at Pembrey on the second day of the weekend for round 3 of the championship. We'll have all the highlights from that one in our next programme. We continue with coverage from round 2 here. We're now moving forward to look at the AS Performance Super Modified category. A double heat win for the poleman, Darren Bleasdale. Round 1 winner in his Vauxhall VX220. He sat out the third heat, which was won by Darren Scott in his Citroën C2. They're joined on the front row by Stan Beauville in his rear-wheel drive Ford Escort, the Northern Irish visitor. Be the VX220 that starts as the favourite. So quick off the line, this car. Darren Bleasdale driving the car that his brother Jason won the overall BTRDA Clubman's title in last year. Leads them off. Also in there, the Porsche Boxster, the pink Porsche of Michelle Swallow. First time we've seen her out in a couple of years, battling with Todd Crooks in the BMW Mini. It's Darren Bleasdale who leads. Darren Scott in the C2 in second. Stan Beauville in third in the rear-wheel drive Escort. Sideways there, demonstrating the rear-wheel drive capabilities of that car. Behind him is Phil Chickin, last year's Super Modified category champion. Because of the quirk of the rules, if you win the title overall, you can't win your category title. That's why Jason Bleasdale was not also the AS Performance Super Modified champion. That went to Phil Chickin. The pink Porsche battling it out with the black and green BMW Mini further back. Michelle Swallow and Todd Crooks towards the rear of the field at the moment, along with Dale Ford, the former overall champion, who's out in his new Vauxhall Corsa. One car failing to start this A final, Chris Wheeler, having problems earlier on with his Citroën DS3 in the heats. Also does a bit of rallying in that car. Phil Chickin chasing after the Escort of Stan Beauville. There's Dale Ford in his new Corsa, just getting that car dialed in over the last couple of meetings for this year. His move up from the production category, where he competed in a Citroën Saxo. Chickin, the reigning Super Modified champion, trying to catch Stan Beauville, who makes a mistake there, runs wide on the left-hander out into the dirt and loses third position. That Escort's a little too sideways, I think, for Stan Beauville's liking there. First two have got away as a result of that, Darren Bleasdale and Darren Scott. But Bleasdale's VX220 so fast in a straight line. It was unbeaten last year in the hands of Jason Bleasdale, winning every A final in the AS Performance Super Modified category. Here's the battle further back. Michelle Swallow sideways, makes a bit of a mistake there in the pink Porsche. Todd Crooks tries to go through on the inside in the BMW Mini. Battle going on here towards the tail of the field. Todd Crooks, whose wife Jordine is the championship coordinator for this series, does a huge amount of work behind the scenes. She was the Volunteer of the Year in the Motorsport UK Awards a year or two ago. Full credit to her for her hard work. It's husband Todd battling away on track at the moment, meanwhile battling away for third place. Phil Chickin and Stan Beauville recovering from that mistake early on in the Escort. We normally see Sam Beauville out as well in his rear-wheel drive Mark III Astra, but Sam not here this weekend. First two have broken away. Darren Bleasdale well ahead of Darren Scott. The dominance of the VX220 showing again. Still this battle going on for fifth position. Todd Crooks right under the rear wing almost of Michelle Swallow's pink Porsche. Dale Ford keeping tabs on them as well from behind in the Corsa, car built in Belgium. Newly acquired over the winter by the Ford setup. Dale Ford, the ex-overall champion when he was in the production category, but just finding his feet in the AS Performance Super Modifieds. We're on the penultimate lap of the race now. Two battles for the minor placings. The questionable highlight here, the first two are away and gone. Here's the fight for third. Chickin and Beauville. Beauville determined to get ahead of that Citroën C2. good stuff here for the minor placings, but it's going to be another win for Darren Bleasdale, surely making it 2 A final wins for the year and extending the Bleasdale family's unbeaten run in A finals to over a season. Jason was unbeaten last year. Darren's on his final lap now, looking to make it 2 A finals out of 2. Darren raced in the BMW Mini category last season. Still Stan Bovell unable to do anything about Phil Chicken for that third place. The battle for fifth still raging further back, still headed by Michelle Swallow. Here she is ahead of Todd Crooks, who just cannot find a way past. Michelle Swallow driving the widest Porsche in Wales right now. Darren Bleasdale, meantime, is heading for the checkered flag. He comes in to take the win. Second will go to Darren Scott in the Citroen C2, but who is going to be third? Boville flings the Escort sideways again, but it's going to be Phil Chicken. Oh, and they've almost caught Darren Scott. He's had a problem on the final lap there. Darren Scott slow, but he still gets second place. Third goes to Phil Chicken. Fourth, it is Stan Boville. And we await the battle for fifth to come in. We'll see if Todd Crooks is going to get past the pink Porsche. Stan Boville not quite getting onto the overall podium for the Super Modifieds, and Michelle Swallow will take fifth position ahead of Todd Crooks. Dale Ford, the final finisher. An entertaining race there for the AS Performance Super Modified category, won by Darren Bleasdale. 12 seconds his winning margin in the end, with Darren Scott slowing with a problem on the final lap. But he does take second place. Phil Chicken just holding off Stan Boville by a few tenths for third, and then Michelle Swallow besting Todd Crooks and Dale Ford in the fights for fifth. Chris Wheeler, the only non-starter in the Citroen DS3.
Congratulations, Darren, a great win.
Thank you, it's great, yeah. I'm just very happy the car's been running perfect today. That's all down to my team. My dad and my brother worked really hard. Because last week at Lytton Hill, the gearbox totally just went. So they've worked really hard all week, and I'm glad I've done it justice today. It's run perfect.
No such problems today for you?
No, definitely not. I like Pembrey. Obviously I had the minis last year and I went quite well in the minis, so I like Pembrey. It's a nice fast track, and in this thing it's a different level.
Well, it's very fast in a straight line, and it's sweet handling too.
Yeah, I love it, especially through the gravel section. I just love the little bits of sliding, and it's fun, really fun. I love it.
So begs the question, when do we next see you and your brother out in your identical cars?
Every 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, he's back here in Pembrey, so hopefully I can try and push Jason a little bit more next time and see what happens. And
is Jason going to come out and play at Lytton with us?
Yes, he possibly. Yeah, I'm not too sure what his plans are, but he's developing that car throughout this year. He's little tweaks here and there, but he's still fast enough anyway. So.
Well, congratulations on your win today. We'll see what happens again tomorrow.
Yeah, great. Yeah, all again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're now going to have a look at the 4x4 categories, a mixture of two classes racing together due to slightly smaller than anticipated numbers. The SJ Wheeler Vehicle Repairs Clubman 4x4 category are out in front, the most powerful cars here for their first round. They didn't run at Blyton. And then we've got the Cooper Tyres Production 4x4 category. Two entries in there. Paul Davis in the Subaru leading Thomas Ramanauskas in the Mitsubishi. A few drops of rain falling here at Pembrey. Out in front of the field we've got Michael Boak in his all-new Skoda Fabia ahead of the BMW Mini Countryman, all four cars. Martin Hawkes in the red machine, and David Bell, long-time BMW Mini racer, in third place, son of Tony Bell, who competed in British Rallycross for many years with a Toyota Corolla, among other things. But it's Michael Boak. Good to see him back out after a few years away. In front of the field in that new Skoda Fabia. Used to run a diesel-powered Audi TT in Rallycross. Smoky Boak, as he used to be known, because of the amount of diesel smoke it left behind it. Here's the production 4x4 category, with the Lithuanian driver Thomas Ramanauskas, who had one heat win, chasing round one winner Paul Davis. And problems there for Martin Hawkes. I saw flames under the 35 car. Looks like he's had a fire, pulling over straight away. Well, the Hawkes family do run a fire extinguisher company, so perhaps a chance to test out some of their products on that car. In all seriousness, we hope Martin gets out of there okay. He's pulled over. The fire marshals already on their way to the car. Fair play to all the volunteer marshals. We could not go racing without them. As Paul Davis leads Thomas Ramanauskas in the battle of the production 4x4s further back. Paul Davis won 2 heats. Thomas won 1 in the Mitsubishi, newcomer to the category this year. Paul Davis won the A final at round 1 at Blyton Park. Of course, the Clubman 4x4s didn't run at Blyton. It's 2 cars remaining in that category, and David Bell moving right up onto the tail now of the Skoda of Michael Boak. 2 races in one here, quite literally. 2 pairings battling for the victories. Fire marshals go to Martin Hawk's car. Looks like the fire is out. That's good to see. As Michael Boak leads into the final lap ahead of David Bell. Both vastly experienced rallycrossers, these two. Fair bit of body roll on the Skoda. It's the first event for that car. Can David Bell catch him in the Mini Countryman? There's been a change for the lead in the production 4x4s. Thomas Ramanauskas has got the Mitsubishi ahead of Paul Davis, so is he heading for a first ever A final win? David Bell is all over Michael Boak there. There may be not too many cars out in this race, but still a couple of good races combined together. They come into the final couple of corners. Is Michael Boak going to hang on for a first win for his Skoda Fabia? Out of the final corner, he's done it. Michael Boak gets his foot down and takes the win ahead of David Bell. Martin Hawkes, sadly a non-finisher, winner of 2 heats earlier on. Michael Boak won Heat 1. He completes a heat and final double in the Skoda. And the production 4x4 pairing further back, won by Thomas Ramanauskas. So in the SJ Wheeler Vehicle Repairs Clubman 4x4 category, it's a first ever win for the Skoda of welcome returnee Michael Boak. He finished just over a second ahead of David Bell. A spirited challenge by David Bell late on in the Mini. Martin Hawkes, sadly a non-finisher, suffering a small fire on his car. While in the Cooper Tyres production 4x4 category, a welcome first day final win for Thomas Ramanauskas, the Lithuanian, getting the Mitsubishi past the Subaru of Paul Davis and taking the win by just over 3 seconds. Great driving from both our 4x4 categories. 2 races in one, and they were 2 great races as well.
Michael, as your first meeting with your new car, and here you are on the top of the podium, first time out. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's almost 4 years since I last drove a car in anger, so and nothing to 4-wheel drive with this sort of power. So yeah, it's brilliant. Long time coming.
And how long have you had the car?
We bought the car end of December last year. So I've done about 20 laps of a go-kart track testing it. We had a few issues, so that was the last time I've driven it. So really, here is the first ever time I've driven the thing properly, especially on loose as well. I've never driven it on loose before. So.
Or round corners?
Thankfully, there's a few corners on the go-kart track, but yeah, we always had an idea the suspension was a bit too soft. It was originally built for European Autocross Championship. We found out definitely today that the suspension is far too soft. At one point through the long right hand, I'm having to back off the throttle because you feel like the car's about to tip over. So it's yeah, we have a lot of work to do still.
Well, that must have knocked your confidence a bit, but hopefully winning in your first final with the car has helped your confidence massively.
Definitely, yes. Just there's still so much more to come from the car. To be totally honest, I'm still quite scared of the car, you know. But yeah, it's definitely helped with the confidence of the car. Being able to keep David and Marty behind me for the full race was, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah,
because you couldn't relax.
No, I just keep saying, I could hear a noise every now and then, and I've got a few dinks in my back bumper, and I just kept glancing in the mirror every now and then. There was somebody there, I wasn't too sure. I think it was David Bell. Yeah, it was good.
Well, congratulations, and delighted for you, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
You will. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Next up, it's the Bone Street Auto Repairs BMW Mini category, and a great effort by Abby McGuinness. 2 heat wins for her. She's on pole alongside the other heat winner, round 1 winner from Blyton, Andy Hawkes. Completing the front row is Nick Abbott. 5 cars underway then down towards the first corner. Good start by Andy Hawkes in the black and green car. He takes the lead on the inside ahead of McGuinness. Not the best of starts there by Abby McGuinness from the pole position. Nick Abbott and Ansko Pitkanen next in the order. Martin Hawkes, not so much luck in the Clubman 4x4s, so trying his luck in the one-make BMW Mini category, running as a standalone class for the first time in 2022. There is Martin at the back in the black car. Identical BMW Mini Cooper S cars, these 1600cc engines. Andy Hawkes looking for 2A final wins out of 2 this year following his victory at Blyton. A great effort though today by Abby McGuinness, the former mini stocks racer on the ovals, with 2 heat wins to take her first ever A final pole position. Lost out at the start though to Andy Hawkes. Nick Abbott in there in 3rd position ahead of Ansko Pitkanen, making his debut in the category, the Finnish-born racer. Scandinavians, of course, have a very proud tradition in the world of rallycross. Many great Finnish names, the likes of Matti Alamäki and Seppo Niittymaki, have been European champion over the years. Out in front it is Andy Hawkes, chased by Abby McGuinness. They've gone slightly clear now of Nick Abbott in third position, had a heat win at Blyton. He's chasing hard in the A final. It looks like he's slowing down there, Nick Abbott. A problem for the 34. Pitkinnon goes through into third place. Martin Hawkes will go through for fourth. Oh, he's locked it up, he's lost it. Martin Hawkes, not sure what's happened there. Suddenly locked up and went sideways. I think Nick Abbott has got going again. He just seemed to lose drive. Martin Hawkes all over the place at the back. But Nick Abbott, for some reason, lost drive there momentarily. Not too sure what the problem was, but he's a long way behind in fourth place now. Ansko Pitkinnon, our newcomer in the number 20 car, up into third position. And out in front it is still Andy Hawkes in the number 18 car, chased by Abby McGuinness. Can Abby catch the number 18 here to try to take her first ever A final win? Abby fighting back after a big wallop at Knock Hill in Scotland last season. Trying to chase up onto the tail of that black and green machine out in front. It's good driving by Andy Hawkes. Looking to make it 2 A finals out of 2 this year. Well, it's a canter at Blyton in Lincolnshire. It's a category champion last year as well when they ran mixed in with the super modifieds. There's a subclass, but sufficient numbers to run as their own championship this year. Great to see, and an ideal way for newcomers to get into rallycross as well. The BMW Mini's fairly inexpensive to run. Pitkinnon closing in there in the number 20. It's one of the Bell Rallycross cars, I believe, certainly in David Bell's colours. He's been running these cars for many years. Nick Abbott in a Bell Rallycross car as well. Cars certainly in Bell Rallycross colours anyway. If they are not run by David Bell's concern, then I apologise. Going towards the end of this A final now for the Bone Street Autos BMW Minis. Abby McGuinness is on the attack. She's only got a lap and a half or so to try and catch Andy Hawkes out in front. Pitkinnon keeping the leaders honest as well in third place. Andy Hawkes all the way. Got the better start from the middle of the front row. Can he hang on? McGuinness closing all the time. See the gap coming down. It's a good drive by one of the leading ladies of Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. The first part of the lap on the tarmac. This redesigned circuit this year. In round 3 they turn everything round and tackle it in the opposite direction. Something not very often seen in motorsport. Not many circuits work in both directions. Onto the loose, this new long right-hander. Seen a few cars caught out here. No problems for the BMW Minis. They come through past the paddock for the final time. Can Abby McGuinness do anything about Andy Hawkes out in front? I think Hawkes is going to hang on into the tight right-hander there, arguably the tightest corner on this circuit. They're not going to catch him up to the final corner. Andy Hawkes makes it 2A finals for 2022. Abby McGuinness a brilliant second place. And well done Ansko Pitkinnon for a fine third in the number 20 in his first event in the category. Nick Abbott and Martin Hawkes will complete the finishes. I don't know what the momentary problem Nick Abbott had was there. He seemed to lose all drive coming through over the loose section. It is a win for Andy Hawkes, but only by 1.2 seconds ahead of Abby McGuinness at the checkered flag. Ansko Pitkinnon less than a second further back in third. Good race between those three. Further back, Nick Abbott 3 seconds off in fourth place, and Martin Hawkes, after a half spin midway through, finishes in fifth position.
Andy, a great win for you today. How did it go?
Start from the front and kept it there all the way, getting pushed hard by Abby. She's getting quicker, but second win of the season, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, she was nibbling away all the time, wasn't she? Yeah. No time to relax.
Yeah, it's defensive driving around here. You don't make a mistake, and they're not going to get past. But yeah, it was good racing, hard racing all day. Loved it, and I like the new track as well. See what it's like tomorrow.
I was going to ask, how does it compare with the previous layout?
It's different. It's not as tricky, but it's fun. It is more fun. You can throw it a little bit more, and we'll see what it's like tomorrow. I think it'll be even more fun tomorrow. But It's another day's racing. Have a decent rest.
Absolutely, and look forward to seeing some more action out there tomorrow.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hopefully.
Great racing all weekend here in South Wales from the 2022 Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. Of course, in our next programme we turn everything around and go on to the anti-clockwise layouts for round number 3. Some good racing from the 4x4 categories and the BMW Minis. Hopefully entries will rise across both the Clubman and production 4x4 classes as the 2022 season wears on. Now to look at the SG Haulage Limited production category. It was a rather chaotic start to their A final. Carl Jarvis contact with the local man Andy Smith in the Renault Clio, and then wallop Charlie Maroney, the winner of round 1 at Brighton, colliding with the Clio. Smith and Maroney would not take the restarts. The other heat winner, Carl Jarvis, further back on the grid there, so it is Charlie Titcombe in pole position in his Citroën Saxo alongside Dan Cofield in the Peugeot 206. We're on board with Kai Mannering, qualified through the B final, finished behind the yellow Saxo of Dan Pollard, the top 2 in the B final, going through onto the back of the A final grid. We're underway through the first couple of corners, incident free this time. Charlie Maroney and Andy Smith did win a heat each, but not taking the restarts in this A final after that collision. Shame for Maroney because he won round 1 at Blighton Park. Charlie Titcombe in his white Saxo that leads the early going, chased by Carl Jarvis in the blue car with the yellow headlamp covers, and third is Darrell Ambrose, newcomer this year in the Peugeot 106. Not the best of starts for Dan Cofield in the 206, in 4th position ahead of Mark Henry in his unique Alfa Romeo 147. Next in the order is Mannering, and then behind him is Dan Pollard in the yellow Saxo. Finally Mark Finch in his Renault Clio. Good variety in the production category, often the biggest entries and some of the liveliest racing. They complete the first of the 6 laps with Charlie Titcombe out in front, former junior Rallycross competitor, chased by Carl Jarvis, one of the favourites for the production title this year. That collision with Andy Smith causing a few problems there. The local man in the Clio spinning out and being collected by Charlie Maroney. Boarding in with Kai Mannering, drawing past Mark Henry, who squeezes him there at the end of the back straight, that unique Alfa Romeo. Mannering is through on the inside on his local circuit, and out of shape there is Mark Henry. He'll lose out to Dan Pollard in the yellow Saxo number 738. One of our newcomers this year, and other than Darrell Ambrose attacking Carl Jarvis for second place. This is allowing Charlie Titcombe to get away in the white number 401 Saxo. Never won an A final in junior Rallycross, looking for his first ever Rallycross A final win here. Dan Cofield recovering from a poor start up there in 4th place in the Peugeot 206 ahead of Kai Mannering. There's Pollard and Henry at the back of the field. Dan Pollard runs wide, makes a mistake, and through goes the Alfa Romeo. Well, lively stuff from the production category, certainly. It's a shame that a couple of cars eliminated at the first start after that crash involving Maroney, Smith and Carl Jarvis. 3 heats earlier on. Carl Jarvis won heat 1, Maroney heat 2 and Andy Smith heat 3. Mannering chasing hard after Dan Cofield. We're on board with him as they head to the start of lap 4. There's a look on the inside, draws alongside the Peugeot 206 as they go onto the loose. Mannering almost onto the grass, that was close, there was almost contact between the two of them. I think they did just clip bumpers there, rubbing's racing as they say. They're all over each other, the 2 Peugeots for 4th place. Mannering up the inside, he's got him. Up into 4th goes the 106 ahead of the 206 of Dan Cofield, but running out wide onto the dirt. Kai Mannering a bit too enthusiastic there, and Cofield takes back the 4th place. First 3 getting away slightly. As a result, this terrific fight over the curb there on the inside goes Kai Mannering. This is great stuff. Cofield just about gets the car stopped for the right-hander there. Had a bit of a tangle in the A final at Blighton as well. Dan Cofield finished at the back of the field. Still Charlie Titcombe who leads the way out in front. Ahead of Carl Jarvis. Darrell Ambrose, the top newcomer, up there in 3rd position. He's having a good first season in Rallycross. Here comes Mannering again onto the tail of Cofield. Behind is Mark Henry's Alfa Romeo. Into the loose they go. Mannering up the inside. He nearly loses it there. He's all over the place. Got well and truly crossed up. Just hit a rut on the inside, I think. He's got it all to do again to catch up to Dan Cofield. Close up. Oh no, he hasn't. Dan Cofield spun it. Look out, Kai Mannering. Goodness me, that was close. Well, Dan Cofield spins the 206 on the loose there. Everybody else scattering to avoid him. Chaotic A final here for the production category. Not for Charlie Titcombe though. He's out in front ahead of Carl Jarvis, who's got Darrell Ambrose all over his tail. These little Saxos and 106s, very lively race vehicles indeed. And Ambrose now right on the bumper of Carl Jarvis for second. Everybody else seems to have lost their heads behind. Who's in fourth place? I think Mannering survived that. He's in fourth. Only just avoided T-boning the spun Dan Cofield. And further back, the stragglers will come in, but it's going to be a win for Charlie Titcombe because Carl Jarvis is concentrating on holding off Darrell Ambrose. He's just been well and truly punted by him on the final turn. Jarvis gets his foot down and holds the place. It's a win for Charlie Titcombe. Jarvis second, third is Ambrose, and Kai Mannering coming in for fourth place. What a crazy race that was. Charlie Titcombe has won it, his first ever A-final win in Rallycross. Well done to the young gun. Carl Jarvis did get second place, was nearly punted off the course by Darrell Ambrose on the last corner. Winning margin for Charlie Titcombe, about 3.2 seconds ahead of Carl Jarvis. Just about survived on the last corner there ahead of Ambrose. Kai Mannering fourth place, and it was Dan Pollard who came through for fifth. Dan Cofield recovering from his spin to complete the six finishers. We lost Mark Henry and Mark Finch late on in that one, and Charlie Maroney and Andy Smith didn't take the restart.
Charlie, great win.
Yeah, it went good. I got off to a good start, but I sort of like held my cool. Got finished first, obviously. Got it all done, and I'm happy with the result.
Quite right. And 2 starts for the one race. What happened for the race to be red flagged?
There was a car as you come onto the dirt section. It stopped. It's a bit of a dangerous place, so they red flagged it.
Safety first. So how's your car going?
There was a bit technical issues in practice. We got them sorted, and after that it was all good. Nice to drive.
Well, it's good to see you on the top step of the podium, or we will when prize giving later on. Yeah. And more of the same tomorrow, maybe.
Hopefully, yeah. It's a relief to come first for the first time, but yeah, we'll go for it again tomorrow.
Yeah. Once the wins start, sometimes they don't stop.
Hopefully.
Good for you. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
On to the Melius Limited pre-1995 Classic category. A hat-trick in the heats for the beautiful Mark II Escort of Lee Wood. He sits on pole position. Jamie McBain in the Peugeot 205 alongside him, and Dave Crockett in the Vauxhall Chevette HSR completes the front row of the grid. 9 cars out there for this one. Away they go. Watch for Mark Jones in the MR2. Very quick off the line. The local man, he charges up the inside. He hits the side of Dave Crockett's Chevette, nuzzles him wide, but it's Lee Wood who's got the lead in the Motorquip Escorts. 9 cars making their way through. There's David Ewing, number 17, not in his usual car this weekend. The Fiesta Evo not ready, so he's in his second car, the Mark III Fiesta. Good to see John Cross out there in his Lancia Stratos replica as well. Didn't see it in the final. And a tangle at the back there. David Ewing and Tom Edmonds in the Corsa tangling up. Edmonds spins off onto the grass. Round 1 winner Richard Maroney in there as well, father of Charlie, who we saw in the previous race briefly in the orange Escort. There's David Attiwell. Good to see the Vauxhall Nova back out as well. One non-starter in this race, unfortunately, Helen Crooks not making it out in her Classic Mini. Hat-trick in the heats, as we said, for Lee Wood, and he's out in front of this one in the Motorquip Mark II Escorts. Lovely looking car, harking back to the early 80s in Rallycross. Crockett in second, the Northern Irishman in the Vauxhall Chevette. Then it's Mark Jones, the local man, up to third in the MR2. He and John Cross both looking to make up for lost points from the first round at Blighton. Richard Maroney's out, the winner at Blighton, in trouble, so the Escort has pulled up. Bad news for the Maroney family, no points for them from the A-finals today in either of their classes, sadly. Saying about Mark Jones and John Cross. Mark Jones spun in the A-final at Blighton, and he spun in the A-final at Pembrey as well. He goes off. Oh dear. Well, Mark Jones, a former category champion, but not having any luck at all in 2022. He spun in the A-final at Blighton, as I was just saying there, and he loses it again here at Pembrey. John Cross, meanwhile, failed to start the A-final at Blighton. He's up there in third place now behind Dave Crockett. Behind him is Jamie McBain. Great effort to qualify on the front row. Didn't make the best of starts, though, sadly, in that very green Peugeot 205 GTI. Behind him, it's David Attiwell in the Nova. There is Mark Jones recovering, past David Ewing, the Cumbrian farmer. The wheel of his Mark III Fiesta, not the Fiesta Evo this time. That car not ready for Pembrey. David Ewan missed the first round at Brighton, was busy with commitments on his farm. It's Lee Wood out in front. Beautiful Mark II Escort, similar to the cars raced by John Welch and Mark Lloyd back in the early 1980s. He's dominated this meeting, won all 3 of the hits. Qualified on pole for the final at Brighton as well, but a poor start dropped him back. Jamie McBain, meanwhile, finished a lap down after a few problems at Brighton. 2 laps to go this time for Lee Wood. Sailing away in front. The colours of Motorquip and STP, of course, long-time Rallycross sponsors. STP sponsors of John Welch in his days in the Opel Astra Group S car. Yellow flags out because of Richard Moroney's stranded Escort. Jamie McBain having a much better run here. David Attewell in the Sky Blue Nova up there in 5th position. He's running well. John Cross is catching Dave Crockett. For 2nd place, the Chevette and the Stratos, both rallying icons. The Lancia Stratos, arguably one of the most famous rally cars of all time. This is not an original, it is a replica of the famous wedge shape. The original Stratos has had Ferrari engines. I don't think this one has, unfortunately. Still sounds lovely though. Chevette up there in 2nd. The Chevette dealer team Vauxhall cars were rallied by the likes of Pentti Ricola and Jimmy McRae. 4th place, that Peugeot 205 GTI of Jamie McBain. It's not a Group BT16. It's a 205 GTI with the nice looking body kit on it there. Of nostalgia in the air here at Pembrey as this race goes on. The battle for 2nd place that's well behind Lee Wood. He's heading for victory. They're on the last lap now. And Lee Wood has dominated proceedings today, takes the win, a maximum score in the Escorts. 2nd place is going to go to Dave Crockett, and John Cross holds off Jamie McBain for 3rd place. They're well ahead of David Attewell in the Vauxhall Nova. There he is across the line. It's Lee Wood, total dominance, 3 heat wins, and the A final as well in the Melius UK Limited Pre-95 Classic category. Something hanging off underneath the Escort there, but no problems there, but certainly problems for Richard Moroney. He fails to finish. Lee Wood taking the win by almost 8 seconds in the end ahead of Dave Crockett, who held off John Cross and Jamie McBain to the line. Further back, Attewell in 5th. Mark Jones recovering from his spin midway through to take 6th place. A frustrating season for the MR2 driver so far. Tom Edmonds recovering from his spin for 7th. David Ewan completing the 8 finishers.
Lee Wood, won your race.
Yeah.
Good final.
Yeah, it was good. I love the new track. It's really flowing, so it suits the sort of style of the car. It makes good racing, so the team at Pembrey have done a good job. It's really good.
Yeah, just the sort of car for this track with some oversteer and sticking the back out there.
Yeah, just a bit round the top end, but you know, we like to do that, and the car's good for it. So,
ever the showman?
Not I wouldn't say that, but no, we just drive it hard, and the car loves it. Like, you know, so.
And we love the car. It's a superb looking car. The replica of
John Welch. So it's probably, in my opinion, one of the best Mark II looking liveries that was done, and I wanted to emulate that and hopefully do it some justice. So yeah, hopefully today it's done that.
Well, it's certainly shown that it goes as well as it looks, so congratulations.
Thanks very much, guys, appreciate it, thank you.
Well, that wraps up the action from Pembrey here at round 2 of the 2022 Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. Some great racing from all our categories here today. In our next programme, round 3, everything is reversed. We race in the anti-clockwise direction here at Pembrey for round 3 of the championship. Certainly something different indeed. For now though, thanks very much indeed for watching, and goodbye.